Section I. To unmask the author is to act like the scene shifter who pushes a new wing onto the stage. Both make visible a new illusion. Section 2. No one works better nor more surely for his own loss than the tyrant. Still, it is necessary that the harvest of disasters has time to ripen. When irony enters into play too early, it becomes manic recklessness. Often, silence acts more forcefully than resistance, especially the silence of an author who has much to say. Section 3. A wise comportment is one of the traveler surprised by the storm, or that of an old Chinese who has already seen many masters come and go. Before all else, to work in one's own domain. The tree is shaped by wind and weather, among other forces. It has seen all kinds of seasons pass over it. Section IV. Literature should again pull something from the noblesse. Since it no longer has the direction of politics or the military, and is not even a model of etiquette, it at least justifies its existence in the service of the muses. Section 7. Concerning the blanching of language, the clergy ensure their monopoly of the knowledge of classical languages, and thereby, just as in times past by the reading of the Bible, an immense reserve of spiritual power. Probably the opposite will happen, a more or less voluntary reduction to the common denominator. Mass itself is nationalized. Section 25. Language dwells in being. The reader should, in the work of the author, find hospitable ground just at the moment where all in the outside world becomes hostile. It is at such times that the book of books is read with more passion, more fervor. Section 27. Reading the prose of a good author is in itself a delight, as if one were to see a dancer enter the stage who could offer you, with visible assurance, a whole series of figures. The rhythm and the melody of language can charm to the point that its content passes to the background, an intoxication, but not without danger. For boundaries are mapped between music and the poetic work. Section 28. Creation can be only imitated and not reproduced. To create is to mimic the creation, and, in this respect, take part in an impenetrable mystery. But one begets only Adamites, not Adam himself. The author pulls his power from analogy. Language itself is only analogy. Aritus sicut Deus. 1. In the attempts that science risks to enter the creative act and partially replace it, indeed to surpass it, it discloses a trait of Satanism. I continue to think that it is due to the misstep of a monk of the Gothic period. Orgasm, relic of the numinous, formerly extended to domains other than that of Eros, or else it is Eros which has crept into them. Perhaps it filled existence with gentle palpitations. It is still this way in the fauna of coral reefs. One sees it when they cradle in the ebb and flow. My very own cat. She has been purring here in my chair for 2 hours, her diaphragm rising and falling. This must be more than mere well-being. Because for these animals, orgasm is rather an acute suffering. This could signify that it interrupts, not the normal life, but a state of chaste happiness. Section 29. The poem is a sacrifice, a characteristic which often remains concealed. But when it is not offered in sacrifice, it scatters to the wind like sound or smoke. Section XXX. The author is often idle, but never without work. On the contrary, he can only partially complete his task, can only approach the goal. If he declares himself unemployed, he bends to the norms of the state and society along with their demands, swapping a great liberty for a mediocre security, which can strengthen his action on the plane of reason, politics, and social life. The state is, at best, a protector, but not a patron. The father, the affectionate friend, and the initiate appear only in the individual. This can be a prince, a pope, and also a pauper, a lay brother who shares his shed and his bread with the poet.